Have you ever felt stuck in a rut, going through the motions but not really feeling alive? That was me for the last year. My lazy girl era lasted almost the entirety of 2023, and it only took 8 weeks to change it. But how did I end up in a lazy girl phase anyway? Well, after quitting my teaching job with no backup plan, I felt disappointed in myself for not being able to manage the job I worked so hard to get, and then for not being able to find something better soon after. I resorted to binging, both television and food, to make myself feel better. This, of course, only made me feel worse about myself. Why couldn't I just get it together? What was wrong with me? Why could everyone else do it, but I couldn't? I was in a rut, zombie mode. I finally decided enough was enough, and the transition out of my lazy girl era all started with one small change. But first, I want to talk to you about why I decided to make the change. For the past few years, I've had essentially the same goals: eat better, work out, lose weight. I created strict rules to achieve these things, working out intensely and weighing myself on most days. Needless to say, this method didn't work. This year, I changed that strategy, my only rule being to get some sort of movement in once a week. I'm not a fan of diets since I know that you just bounce back once you deviate from it. So I knew that once I made a change, it had to be a permanent one, which is what kept me from making the decision in the first place. I knew I had to be ready to make a lifestyle change, not a temporary change. So back in 2022 and a year later in 2023, I had routine blood work done. Both times, my cholesterol was high, and the sad part is that I wasn't even surprised. I expected it. What else could I expect, having gained almost 10 inches to my waist in a matter of months? Another thing that really got me thinking was my parents. They're getting to an age where they're needing me more, and they both have health issues which would be alleviated by healthier lifestyles. But at their age, while it's not impossible to make changes, after a lifetime of living a certain way, it's much harder to implement change. I don't want that to happen to me, not just for myself, but for my kid. I don't want to become a burden to her. And then there were all the changes I noticed in myself. Always feeling tired, random aches and pains. I used to have great posture, which is no longer the case. And I think what's hit me the hardest is getting my first wrinkle. All of these changes just became too much for me. I needed to act immediately, but also in a way that didn't make me feel overwhelmed, which would surely result in me quitting after a week. So this small change I've implemented has had immediate spillover effects into various aspects of my life, starting with sleep. My body and mind are just tired by the end of the day, so it's taking me less time to fall asleep and I'm sleeping more soundly. Then there's my mood. The endorphins are working. I'm spending so much more time outside in nature, which just gives me a boost every time. I'm feeling just a little bit lighter, and I can see that I'm also being more patient. And with things the way they are right now, I think we all know how necessary that is. My hunger. I'm craving healthier foods and the way they make me feel, which is also affecting my energy. I get random bursts of energy every day, and I've also noticed that I start to feel restless after long periods of no movement, which I realize is my body telling me that I haven't moved enough, at which point I take a break from what I'm doing to get some movement in, which also serves as a reset button during my day. Tidiness. This is a huge one for me. After reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, I've reframed the idea of having to do something with the concept of systems. This has helped me take the emotion out of chores that I simply don't feel like doing, but need to get done. I'm watching less TV, spending less time scrolling through social, and most importantly, I've gotten off Instagram completely, which was having a huge effect on my mental health, not for the better. So what is this simple but magical thing that has already caused massive change for me this year? That's right. Walking. I decided to start going for a walk every day after dropping my daughter off at school and before starting my work day. I have way overshot my movement goal of once a week, walking a few miles on most days. And after 8 weeks, I've gone from spending hours a day in bed, literally, to doubling my yearly average step count and feeling a whole lot better about myself. Instead of a weight loss goal this year, I made one to become healthier, little by little, rather than putting the pressure on myself to lose X amount of weight within a short amount of time and then being dreadfully disappointed when it doesn't happen. Instead, I'm focusing on how I feel and what I'm doing outside of my health journey, such as being less sedentary, being in a better mood, and even my YouTube journey, which I'm having a lot of fun with. The reality is that these changes were really more than 8 weeks in the making. All that time that I actually thought I was doing nothing, I was doing exactly what I should have been doing, resting. I'd spent years and years working hard towards one goal, then another, then another, and then another. Then getting a new demanding job, then adjusting to COVID, moving, the political climate, and the backlash of all the other people also dealing with the same things. I crashed. I needed this time of rest to heal, to think and reflect on myself and my choices and my desires. It was the first time in years that I had some time on my hands, and I decided to build myself back up again. These changes may not seem big to many of you guys, but I needed to worry about consistency more than intensity. And so far, it's working for me. We're all different, and the whole hardcore thing hasn't proven to be useful for me. I've spent enough of my time feeling ashamed and inadequate. I'm ready to be gentle with myself and for slow progress. And speaking of which, even though I haven't lost a single pound, I've lost an inch off my waist. Progress. So if you've had the same goal to get healthy over and over just to be disappointed each time, maybe try my strategy, starting with being nice to yourself. 8 weeks from now, you can be in a completely different trajectory than you're on today. Make small changes and stop thinking about the outcome. Enjoy the journey. My transition hasn't been about drastic changes or strict rules, but rather about being kind to myself, focusing on consistency, and enjoying myself along the way. The past 8 weeks are only the beginning, and I look forward to sharing more with you guys in the days ahead. And if you're on a similar path or seeking a change, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Remember that progress takes time, and every small step forward counts. Thank you for joining me, and if you want to see what else I'm working on this year, check out this video.